Hello everybody and welcome back to Olive Boy Pens. Back with some long form content for once. Today I'm going to be talking about a pen with a very long name. And that name is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Pistone Vesuvio Primary Manipulation Batch 2. So it does have a name that sounds like a Game of Thrones character, but surprisingly there is a lot to talk about with this pen. Leonardo is not a pen brand that I have a lot of experience with, and when my friend Jean offered me a chance to try out this pen, I figured why not give it a shot. I don't know why I don't have any Leonardos yet. I guess I haven't seen the right one for me, and I'll get to why that is later on in the video. But this one is one of the higher end ones. These retail around $500, and I have some thoughts about that. But you know, on paper, it's got a lot going for it. This one is fitted with the gold fine elastic nib made by Jovo. It's got a piston filler. It's got a crazy material. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. So we've got the pen with many names, the Leonardo something 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 something. This is a larger version of this model, hence the Grande in the series of names that are in there. The first thing that catches the eye, obviously, is this material. The material is a hand-poured acrylic by Jonathan Brooks over in either North or South Carolina. And yeah, he has become very successful making his own pens with the Carolina Pen Company and also selling his blanks to different pen makers. This material in particular is called Vesuvio, and it has a lot going on. There's like blue and white and brown and yellow and red, and parts of it are translucent. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, you can sort of see part of the piston mechanism in there. And it's very colorful, but not very harmonious, colorfully, in my opinion. So I'll get back to more of that in my opinion, but that is definitely the first thing that stands out about this pen. In addition to that, we've got some nice silver colored trims here. You got a nice roller clip a la Omas, or a lot of different Italian pen makers. A little double band here, a little band on the barrel, another band on the barrel, and then when you open the cap, you've got this section and nib. The section is something that I definitely wanted to try out because I've always seen them and wondered if they were comfortable. And I'm happy to report that, yes, strangely, they are very comfortable. It might also be because this is a kind of a larger model. I haven't tried their kind of standard size. But yeah, it's pretty nice. So the nib under here is a Jovo nib, but it's not just your bog standard everyday Jovo nib. Of course, it's got the Leonardo stamp on there, and then you'll also notice these little flexi cutouts on the sides there. So this is what Leonardo calls their elastic nib. It is 14 karat gold. It has those little flex cutouts, and it is pretty nice, as you will see in the writing sample. In addition to that, it actually has an ebonite feed, which is pretty sweet, especially for a pen in this price category. You like to see that. And then on the barrel, you've also got Leonardo Officina Italiana, which is, tasteful. I'm glad they didn't put like the whole GD name of the pen on there. It would have covered the whole thing. And then towards the end, you have the piston turning knob, which for some reason, I can never get to fully tighten. Regardless, it does work very well. The piston itself is smooth and holds a lot of ink, and there's no ink window, so you're kind of in the dark about that, but I have loved other pens that didn't have that before, so I can't exactly complain about it in good conscience. Yeah, let's do some writing with this pen and see how it performs. Today I've got the Leonardo MZG Pistone Vesuvio. And then the nib I have in here is a 14 karat fine elastic. Now note how they use elastic instead of flexible, because that's very true of this pen. It is not flexible, it's just bouncy. So if I were to try and push it, which I'm not going to do very hard, you get a little bit of give, but the nib is actually moving up and down more than the tines are actually spreading. So you get more ink flow and you get more bounce, but you don't actually get line variation per se, which I'm fine with. The way that this is used most often is like a really, really nice fine nib, because that's what it is. It is very smooth, especially on this lovely Romeo paper. It has excellent ink flow. I'm also using Pilot uh, Asagao, which is a lovely blue ink. Um, and yeah, I really enjoy writing with this pen. It kind of took me by surprise because, well, to be fair, as soon as I knew I was going to try it out, I had some personal biases just based on the way that it looked and how I felt about kind of this new modern acrylic style, which is, it's perfectly valid, but it's just not my thing. But in the end, I used it for a couple of sessions of like D&D notes and just writing, and it's very comfortable, holds a lot of ink. And I would love to have a pen with this nib on it, just not in this material, you know? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about the whole experience of using this pen. Not a pen I would necessarily seek out, but very pleased to have gotten the chance to use it regardless. So, you have seen all of the details about the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Pistone Vesuvio Programming Manipulation Batch 2. And you know that I have some thoughts about it. One thing that I cannot get over with this pen, in a bad way, is the material. I am personally not a fan of this type of acrylic. There are ones where I'm into it, like there's a Mother of Pearl series that was done on this pen a while back. Same Jonathan Brooks, blank pouring and all of that. But this particular colorway looks really muddy and just has so much going on in it that I think it looks, I won't even say cheap. It just feels like strange. Like it doesn't, and it's funny because I find myself looking at it a lot because I'm just like trying to find some rhyme or reason to anything in there. And there's none, because, it's all kind of, you just like pour in colors. And obviously Jonathan is a very skilled artisan, and clearly these pens probably sold out when they came out. But besides like the facts of this pen, the fact that the piston filler is nice, the fact that the nib is really good, the proportions are nice, it has nice trim placement and all that stuff, nice little roller clip. Besides that, it's just like I would love this pen if it was not in this material. The material is just like, the actual feel of it I don't love. It feels kind of like soft, and it gets fingerprinty very easily, and it's not pretty to me. I find it mildly heinous, but that's just me. What's funny is that when Jean offered me the chance to try out this pen, I asked very diplomatically, like, so do you like this kind of acrylic material? Because I personally don't. And he was like, oh no, it's just I wanted a pen, I wanted a Leonardo. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's what I'll have to do instead of just being picky. But I'd also rather just not spend the money, because I have other pens that are piston fill Italian pens, that have these features that I much prefer using, namely my Omas. Not that this is necessarily consumer advice, because these are very limited edition, but if you've been wondering about what it feels like to have one of these for a minute, it's nice, and you could spend a while looking at this material in depth and being like, wow, it has so much depth and complexity to it. But sometimes things that have depth and complexity are still ugly. So that's kind of where I'm at with this pen. I mean, I also don't love this little loose piston, but I don't know if that's just on this pen. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my friend Jean for letting me borrow this pen. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Leave a comment if you disagree with my hot takes about this type of acrylic. Also, be sure to follow me over on Instagram. I've been doing a pretty fun series there. I'm kind of unavoidable on my channel. I'm posting every day. But yeah, the Inktober Madness series is going well. It's heating up. The competition is going well. And yeah, I'd love to see you over on my Instagram as well. And I will see you next time.